So, welcome to the podcast, Mr. Nathan Mitchell. How are you, Nathan? Are you well?
I'm doing well, Rob. Thanks very much for having us.
Not at all. Now, the reason I have you on this week's podcast is because you're going to be talking about quite an interesting new website. Do you want to tell us about this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, so going back just 4 weeks now, myself and a friend of mine, Kyle Campbell, we launched a site called Bagpipe Central. And the idea behind it is just really it's creating a marketplace for our pipe band community and our piping and drumming community to connect and be able to find and search and exchange and trade items that they have for sale or that they're looking for. And it's interesting. You see these types of places in all other communities around the world, but when it came to pipe bands, we didn't have one, and we've been talking about it for years, and it was almost too bad that we didn't have that central place to connect. And we always sort of made the comment, why not us? Why not our pipe band world? And so
Yeah.
we built it, and it's kind of in its infancy right now, but we're at a point where we're starting to show people and get them to engage with it and see what it's all about.
There you go. Oh, we'll have to have a look at the website just in a wee minute or two. But first of all, I want to find out more about yourself. First of all, so you do actually come from the piping scene. You've been involved in piping and drumming now for quite a while. Do you want to give us a bit of your piping pedigree?
Sure, yeah. I'm not sure pedigree is the word, especially when I think of some of the guests that you have on the show. It's actually quite humbling. You've got an incredible,
Not at all.
uh, and
Yeah.
and I came to it. To be honest with you, Rob, I'm a fan of the show. I mean, I really enjoy it. I listened to the
Oh,
last
thanks.
few interviews, and uh, you know, I'll tell you, I listened to Bruce Gandy and Bob Worrell and
Yeah.
two guys that I know and respect and have heard play many times, and it was great to hear their comments. But one of
Yeah.
my favorite was Brian Martin. I don't know Brian. I haven't been over to hear him play before, but what a great just like be able to hear the stories of a guy who's played in FM for 30 years and what that was like. It was just a great
hmm
interview. So
And
you're doing a great service for our world as
I
well.
dare say we haven't heard all the stories as well. Probably a lot of them not broadcastable. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, you have been
So yeah,
involved in
sorry.
the piping scene. Yeah, you've been playing for a number of years.
Yeah, I started. I picked up the chanter when I was 8 years old, and it was actually my granddad that taught me. He taught a lot of the pipers in our local community here in Winnipeg in Canada. Um, and then I actually stuck just a soloist until I was probably 10 or 11 and joined a local boys pipe band here in Winnipeg. And then from there I aged out of that group and I went and played with the band. I'm not sure if you remember, but Alberta Caledonia out in Alberta,
Oh, yes,
sort of
I
split
do.
between Calgary and Edmonton, but
Hmm.
fantastic group. I had a cousin out there who was a piper in the band, and so he brought me along and had some great times with them. And then went to Australia actually and played with the Blacktown band there for a season.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, and then after that I actually came home and started. There was a Winnipeg police band that my granddad was pipe major of for 50 years, and
Mhm.
they had always been just one of the greatest organizations in our community and a lot of fun, good people. And I convinced them to start competing. So I decided I'll take on this pipe majorship of, we started out in grade 4 and 3 and then ended up in 2. And that's kind of where it is. So the Winnipeg Police Pipe Band. But yeah,
Superb. There you go.
not the gold medals or anything else that a lot of your guests have, but I definitely have been in the pipe band scene my entire life. So
Oh, there you go. And I have to say, I'm quite a fan of Winnipeg, please. So shout out to them. Anybody listening right now, go on, Winnipeg. There you go. So, yes, you've developed this brand new website then just to kind of act as a bit of a hub for the piping scene, really. For those who are watching on the video right now, you may well actually begin to see the actual webpage. Here it is. It's called bagpipecentral.com. So do you want to explain to us what we're looking at here, Nathan? What is this website?
absolutely. So it's a free marketplace for pipers and drummers to use. Um, that's about it. We keep the riff raff out, so it's just for our pipe band community. And I shouldn't say. I mean, there are other pipers on there. Like you see lots of Ulian sets. You
Hmm.
see a few Gaida. Some of the Spanish and Galician sets, that type of thing. But for the most part, it's piping and drumming is where our community is. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, what you can do is if you have say a set of pipes you want to sell, or in this case, like some old band chanters.
Mm-hmm.
You can log onto the site, create an account, which takes less than a minute. You just put your email address in and make an account, and then you can upload your listing. So you can say, look, I want to sell these pipes. And the nice thing is, actually, Rob, if you scroll back where you are there, if you click
Mm-hmm.
on bagpipes underneath the filters,
Bagpipes, yeah.
right?
There's a load of
And
them here, yeah.
right, I mean, it's funny. We just launched in January, so it's a brand new site, but we already have over 150 sets of pipes, which has been just astonishing. But what you can do is, you can actually pick. If you look at make, underneath make, you'll see it says see more, right?
Valentine.
And there's all the makes of pipes that we have on the site currently. So, if
Wow.
you're looking for a set of Dunbars or, Nails or Hendersons,
As
I
I
could
said,
go on, right?
somebody got a
McCallum.
G1 chanter on there. There you go.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Matter of fact, there's actually I saw some G1 reeds that were sold on the site the other day, but
Excellent. There you go.
and that's kind of what's nice about it too, is it's very specific. So, people can look and we've also noticed a lot of people are using this just to find out maybe what their pipes are worth. I mean, over time, as it grows, they're going to be able to go and say, look, I've had this, I think they're an older set of Stark pipes, and I've always wondered, what people are selling them for. So they go online and they take a peek and see what the market is, and it's become a good resource for that sort of thing as well.
So that's what I was going to ask you about here, Nathan. There is this little tab here, appraisals. And is this what you mean? Like people can have like photographs of their instrument and then you send them in and then they get a price for them? How does this work?
That's exactly right. So, a lot of times people are looking to have their instrument appraised. And so there's no exact science to it that we've found in the world. I think a lot of times what happens is, either manufacturers or vendors that have been in the scene for a long time will write up a certificate of authenticity or something like that, let's say for insurance purposes or just to have, so this is just kind of a formal place for someone to do this. So, we would offer them the same thing. If they wanted to show us their instrument and give us a bit of background, in this particular appraisals form, it is good to be very detailed and give us the history of your pipes or what your instrument is. It's very, very important to give us all that background, and the pictures too, good quality pictures, so we can see the combing and all the different aspects of the pipes that help us to identify what exactly they are. But anyhow, we'll just kind of give you some feedback as to what we think they are, to help identify them. And if you're looking for an actual like certificate of authenticity, something you can use as a document, in that case, we would actually charge for it. So, I think we have on there it's $100 or something along those lines.
There you go. Yeah. But
and
for some instruments that could be worth it though, if you're considering, getting it certified as a particular model from a particular decade or something, that's really worth having. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You hear about a lot of people who, insure their pipes, of course, which maybe is a good plan. And you hear about a lot of people will just do it as like a rider on their house insurance or something along those lines. But
there you go.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So you can list your item for free for sale. You can also buy it through the website as well without paying any fees and stuff and all the rest. You can have your instrument actually appraised officially and get a certificate of appraisal, which is all sorts of awesome. But I have to ask you about the blog feature then that is also on this site as well. You guys are frequently publishing blogs on here. Some of these are really quite interesting. Who writes these? Do these come from yourselves?
Yeah, and to be fair, that's actually my partner Kyle Campbell, my partner in crime here, that is helping us build the site, and he's the one who's for the most part writing all that blog material. So, but that's exactly what it is. What it is, Rob, is over the years when we've been talking about this, people have so many questions about buying and selling and transferring pipes and how to do it. For example, like, it says, how do I ship my bagpipes? It sounds simple, but it's a question that comes up quite a bit. Okay, I just sold them. How do I get them safely to the buyer, right?
How do you get them in the mail? Yeah.
Right. And I mean, it might sound like common sense, but I think for a lot of folks, it's a great read, because as they're getting an opportunity to actually put them in the box and ship them over, there's some nice tidbits of information there for them. So, that's the idea behind the blog, is just to help people, if they are buying and selling through the site, use it wisely and be able to get some more information without having to go search for it.
They are indeed. So I'll go right back to the homepage again. Now, I'm not going to give the entire site a whole go over here in the video. If you do want to check out the site, please go and have a look at it, bagpipecentral.com. So this is basically a free service that people can jump in and just engage with the piping community, Nathan. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's part of one of the key messages here, is that, myself and Kyle, my partner in crime, we're not looking to make money off the site. It's really just a community-minded initiative to give us something as a pipeline community to be able to use and enjoy. Like, honestly, it comes from a good place. We both feel that the pipe band community has just given us so much over our time in it, and we've been so fortunate to be members of it that it's time to give something back, and this is our little opportunity to do that. And just to give you a bit of background, so Kyle and I, why we sort of came to this point is we both worked together in a marketing firm for many years. In fact, right across the hall from each other. And I can tell you, Rob, honestly, many times the conversation shifted from marketing to pipe bands. But anyhow, so we have a lot of experience together and known each other for decades and played in bands and everything else. And this was just kind of a natural fit. And what happened was, about 3 years ago, a fellow that my granddad taught, he's aging on and he's not able to play his pipes anymore. And he got to a point where he needed to sell them, and he wanted to sell them. So he rang me up and said, Nathan, you're pretty good with computers, and is there a chance you can help me try to sell my pipes, right? And I said, yeah, absolutely, right? And so I did. I put them, quite honestly, Rob, I can tell you there's about 68 places online where you can try to sell these things.
Wow.
And none of them really seem to join the community properly or get people connected or centralized. So
no, 'cause you're talking what, like Amazon, eBay, I don't know, Gumtree that we have here in the UK, or Craigslist there in the States, I suppose. All these different sites, but they're so broad. They're not focused on the actual community itself, like you say. Yeah.
Correct. That's exactly it, right? And like I said, I mean, the list of 68 is probably minute compared to what it actually could be. Places that we just haven't come across. But so that, for me, just put it in my head at that point on that, we have to create something for our community and have a place where people can do this kind of stuff safely and just feel good about it and get a chance to browse. So so I'll tell you, those pipes, they actually did not sell, and we still have them. It's a beautiful set of what we think are 1942 Hendersons, and not a crack in the ivory, like just a gorgeous set. But my point is that's what kind of drove our initiative to get this off the ground, is because we just saw a need for it. So that's where it all came from.
I think it's a fascinating idea and a cracking idea as well. And I'm surprised no one's thought of it already, but I'm so glad that you guys are doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's fantastic.
It's funny you say that, because you're not the first person to make that comment. When we've been talking to folks over the last while, we've heard that a lot. We can't believe this hadn't existed prior to you guys putting this out there. So
yeah,
that's a good feeling, right? Because it makes you know that you've done the right thing and that people are actually getting some good use out of it.
Certainly. Now, as much as we're talking about selling bagpipes and stuff, I also noticed as we were scrolling through there briefly, there was also drums and uniforms and different things. Like, there's everything really to do with piping and drumming, really. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Rob, I hadn't forgot that you're a drummer. I wanted to talk about that. It's funny. We've had lots and lots of pipes course, but there's been very few drums posted. And some of the feedback we've been getting from drummers in the community, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this too, because you're very close to it, is that COVID has not been kind to the drumming world, especially the marketplace. Just given the fact that, pipers own their own pipes, they play them, quite a lot outside of band functions. And I'm not just speaking to like the competitive scene and that kind of upper echelon of playing, but more like every, parade band outside of the contest band in the world. If there's no events, public gatherings, things to play at, unfortunately, I think sometimes the drums just don't get brought out as much. And when it comes to buying and selling and exchanging, the information we're getting is that What percentage? I guess I'll ask you this question. We're gonna flip. We're gonna flip roles here. But
You're going to
in
interview
your
me?
opinion,
Okay.
what percentage? What percentage of the pipe band drumming world owns their own drum?
Wow. Honestly, I would say it's in the single figures. And I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of drummers out there that would own their own instrument because they would
So the
just
number
use the
we
bands,
right. So
Yeah,
the number we came to is it's less than 1%
I would
that
say so.
actually
Yeah.
own their own drum. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so because of that, bands aren't trading, they're not buying and selling because there's no reason to, right? They're not looking for new drums and they're not out there actively playing at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And hopefully this doesn't last forever. But so that I think that's one of the key reasons that we haven't seen a lot of drums yet. I mean, there's a group in Australia that's selling their full set, so they've got the full snares, bass, tenor, complement. But
Oh, right. Yeah.
um,
A full core
other
of
than
drums
that,
available. Yeah. Ah, there you go.
right. But I would suspect that once we're through the pandemic and things start to pick up again and everything's back on, I would suspect that you're going to see more trading of drums happening in the marketplace.
There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fascinating
Hope so.
project, for sure. And one of which I think, the piping folks should really get behind and make use of this incredible service. Nathan, thank you so much for talking to us here in the show. Do you want to again just mention the website address where folks can go and check it out?
Yeah, thank you, Rob. It's bagpipecentral.com. And you can connect with us there. And you can also connect with us on any of the social platforms. So there's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We're pretty connected with those, and we like to show folks what's on the site through those properties. So yeah, take a look.
There you go. Perfect stuff. Nathan, thank you so much, man, for talking to us here on the podcast. And I wish you every success with this. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Rob. Appreciate it.